All right. Well, just obviously disappointed in the outcome. Before we get started on that, I appreciate all the fans that made the trip. It's very evident that our fan base travels well and was very active, and I appreciate that. Disappointed in the outcome, as I mentioned, but more disappointed in the process that led to the outcome. Our inability to deal with both success and adversity in that ball game was disappointing. I'm the head football coach. Starts with accountability. It's a big part of our culture. It's a main pillar of our culture. And accountability, it's on me. It's on me to fix. This is an area that we discuss daily at every practice. It's an area during the game. As we started the fourth quarter, I always call our team up, and we always talk about it's all about the finish. This is what we train for. We train for these moments, these opportunities, and we will continue to address it, and we'll continue to stress that. I know it's been a main focal point for us since coming here is how we finish. It's all about the finish. We struggled handling success. I think that was evident, up 27-9, and dealing with success is just as important as how you deal with adversity as well. After viewing the video, it's never as good as it seems, never as bad as it seems. There was a lot of good we can build on, and we're going to build on it. We've got a lot of football in front of us. Our guys continue to play with great effort, and they play with great energy. This continues to show up over and over, and it'll pay off in due time, without a doubt. They do care. This football team does care, and they were hurting, as every coach and every fan, and to lose any football game. We've challenged our special teams to be elite in several areas, and I thought that after watching the video, I was very pleased with the intensity and attention to detail that's showing up on our special teams units, and that's a big plus. It was the little things that got us beat. I keep preaching that over and over. It's the little things. It's the attention to the small details that cause you to lose focus in everything you do and get you off track. Offensively, our player of the game was Devwah Whaley, had a career night. Was glad to see Noah Gatlin started left tackle and played all snaps for us and did a really good job as a true freshman. Continues to build depth for us. Came into the game with the intent to run the football. That was my intent, straight up. We want to run the football. I challenged our offense last Sunday. We have to run the football. We got to be known to be a team that can run the football. And we had to improve in our double team blocking, movement of double teams coming off the backers. We had to improve on our blocking out on the edge. With our wide receivers, and we did. I thought we did this. That was good to see those guys respond, especially in the first half. We snapped the ball 49 times in the first half, which was well on our pace. We were more efficient and effective on first down, which was another challenge that I gave the offense, and it showed up. We got to protect the football, though. It's something we talk about all the time, takeaways, no giveaways. We gave the ball away and gave it away on the third play of the game and gave it away at a critical moment right before half, which gave them some momentum. Both turnovers led to 6 points. I've got a lot to improve on. We've got to improve. We've got to be more effective on third down. Third down offense was 5 of 15, which is not even close to our standard. And especially when you go back and look at it, your third down offense in the second half was 1 of 5. And, getting into the red zone, especially on the road, you got to come away with touchdowns, especially with a team that's fighting for their life, their back's against the wall. Field goals don't do it. They're good to get, but you got to get touchdowns on the road. We could not capitalize off sudden change opportunities. Another thing that we talk about is be able to respond. We had a big punt return that we came away with no points, and to me that was a critical moment in that game. I chose not to go for it on fourth down to start the fourth quarter, and I thought at that time, and there wasn't no thought to it. The defense was playing well. And, you know, I thought that the only way we could give them any momentum and get them back in this game was to give them a shorter field and just get the crowd back in it. So we chose to punt it. We did our job. We punted the ball, got the ball down on the 4-yard line, and that's what we wanted to do. Still, with all that offensively, with 5:17 on the clock and the game tied, we had the ball in our hands, and we had to punt it right back. So we'll build on the good, we'll correct the bad, and we'll get better. With 49 snaps in the first half, and disappointing that we could not stay on the field longer in the fourth quarter as we only had 8 snaps. To where I think they had 26 snaps. So the defense spent entirely too much time on the field in the fourth quarter. Defensively, player of the game was Sosa and Armon Watts. Both these guys are playing extremely well, being very disruptive. We came in challenging the defense. I wanted to play fast. I wanted to play physical. I wanted to rotate some guys and continue to build depth. We did that. Challenged our guys to create turnovers. Each week we strive to create 3. We had 2, and only scored 7 points off the 2 turnovers. I thought we played exceptional defense for the first 2.5 to almost 3 quarters. And late third quarter, the drive that started it had a couple of busts. Got the ball over our head, which is something you never do. Got the ball over our head, and they started creating some momentum for them. But that's going to happen at times. But, you know, the fourth quarter drive, the 96-yard drive, we got them 3rd and 3, and quarterback does a good job, rolls to his right, and throws back across his body and finds a receiver that just slips behind. We were in man coverage and slips behind us, and for a 4 or 5 yard gain, kept the drive moving. You know, also on the same drive, we had a penalty. Penalty kept the drive going, 2nd and long, and hands to the face off the incomplete pass, and just gave them some more momentum. So defense was on the field entirely too long in the fourth quarter, as I mentioned earlier, and disappointed we didn't finish. That's the message. That's the last 4 drives defensively, we went 70, 96, 60, and 59 and gave up 25 points. But the thing looking at it, these mistakes can be fixed, and they will be fixed. We got to improve. The season starts today mentality. These guys were back in here yesterday and got through the corrections, the game tape, and on the field last night, and definitely have to get this behind us and learn from it and move on. And it's a long season. We're going to have adversity along the way. How you respond is the only thing that matters. And this is going to be a big week for this football team, and as this team has everything in front of them. And we're playing a very improved and the best North Texas team that we've seen, that I've seen. I'm very familiar with them. First 2-0 start since 1994, lead the country in passing. Coach Luttrell's done a fabulous job there, and we'll have our work cut out for us. They'll come in, and we've got a lot of momentum going right now. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
Hey, Chad, you've talked a lot about the pace that you want your quarterbacks to operate, and through 2 games, according to the stats that we have, Ty's been faster than Cole in terms of, you know, the time between snaps. I wonder, can you assess where both of them are, and how much was Cole's time affected the other day by trying to melt some clock in the second half with that lead?
Well, I think a lot of that, the circumstances dictate themselves differently, you know, given the where you're at in the ball game. I think, you know, for sure, early in the game, we're playing faster. Late in the game, you're burning clock. You're running the ball effectively. So I think some of that is just dictated by the circumstances during the course of the game, as opposed to the actual quarterback himself not getting up there and snapping it quicker. There are times though that we're pushing. You know, either one of them, we're pushing them a little. Hey, we got to get going faster on it. So,
Coach, you said the game plan all along was to run the ball. Did you adjust it a little bit more after you saw the start that Ty Storey had?
No, not really. You know, we took some shots, or we took a shot early and gave up a pressure on the quarterback, but. You know, we felt like we had a hot hand running the football, and that was our challenge all week long. And we wanted to come in and run the ball. And Devwall Whaley, thought we were rotating backs through there, but no, it wasn't. We were going to stay running the football.
Chad, I want to take a look third down just a little. You were in 3rd and mediums, 3rd and shorts a lot. What prevented the plays from coming open, and the deep pass game? What limited that in this game?
Yeah, the deep pass for the most part, they started loading the box on us a little bit there, but we were hatting them up, and they were bringing the free safety down. We were running front side of that. Excuse me. As far as we just we were depending on running the ball. I was depending on running it, but as far as the third and mediums, when we did throw the football and we dropped back, we did have some guys open, and then there was times that they were dropping into, when we got into some of the third and longs, medium to long situation, they were doing a good job. They're dropping into a Tampa coverage and covering up underneath and forcing us to run the ball. I think Ty ran the ball once and picked up a big third down on third and medium or third and long. So yeah, I just, in a situation like that, you got to win one-on-one battles, and we got to be able to create those opportunities. And when you run the football, one of the things that's going to happen to you is you're going to get behind the chains, you're going to get off schedule at times, and you got to be effective in converting third downs. And in the second half, and for sure the second half, we were not efficient in third downs.
How big a concern is it that you haven't, after 2 games, I guess, developed a true starting quarterback, and where are you heading into this week at quarterback?
Yeah, I don't know if it's so much of as a concern as it is to the guy that's going to lead this football team, and playing 2 quarterbacks is really not something I want to do, but it's something right now until we can get the guy that can get this team moving and getting us on schedule and creating the momentum that it was going to take, the spark that it's going to take. It'll be a week-to-week process right now, and hope to settle in and get a guy going. And our intent last week was to play both if the circumstance presented itself, and I thought that coming into the second half we needed a spark. And we came out and we got the spark, got what we needed. We jumped out quick, but we could not sustain the success. And again, snapping the ball 8 times in the fourth quarter was just not acceptable.
I had a couple special teams questions. You had Bauer punt. I don't know if it was I know Blake didn't have a good first week. You just decided to switch there, and Jared just seemed to really struggle with return punts. I know Deion did a good job. Is Deion the number 1 guy? What do you do about punter and punt return?
No, Jared will still be our punt return guy. And that was, we lost some yardage, some hidden yardage. We always talk about the hidden yards on the field by letting the punt hit the ground and roll on us. Talking to Jared, there were several times he lost it coming off coming off the lights or off the scoreboard, and I don't think the altitude, it carried a little bit more on him, and so instead of risking it, when he saw it going over his head, instead of risking it, he just let it go, and that happened on a couple of times, and we made a change there. But no, Jared will get back in there and be our main punt return guy, and they'll both see action there. As far as Reed, I thought that in practice, Reed had been punting better, and so we were going to give Reed a shot at that.
How just think he did?
I thought he did okay. I thought, as a freshman out there on that stage, I thought that, I thought his nerves were okay. He averaged 38 yards, but we need more than that. But I thought he did okay.
On the quarterbacks, just how far ahead are Kelly and Story of everyone else, or do you think there's an opportunity for one of your others to get into a game that's still in question?
Well, these guys still get reps. They get reps in practice, and we'll do that all year long. And so they got to be ready for the opportunity presents itself if it does. But we're going to Cole and Ty will continue to battle this week.
Chad, under Brett Bielema, the team blew a lot of fourth quarter leads. They're not necessarily confident in that situation. What past coaching experiences do you draw from in similar situations to try to apply to this?
Yeah, I think the biggest message there is it's all about the little things. It's the attention to details that when you're up, how you handle success. We did not handle success well. We lost our focus. We lost the attention to what got us to that point. And the ability to create a sudden change moment, the ability to just come away with any type of points out of that is a whole nother game. We were one stop and one score away from that thing being over with. And when you lose focus, we lose the attention to details. That's the message, and it's not going to change. It's not. It's the way we address it every day. It's the way we address it on the field going into the fourth quarter. That it's all about the finish. It's how we train, and that we train for moments like this. And this is at some point we've got to break this cycle. And there's going to be a moment that we're going to break it, but at some point it's there, it's evident. And we've got to break the cycle. And I don't know what's happened in the past, and that's but this is on my watch, and this is how we approach things. And as I shared with you earlier, it starts with accountability, and it starts with me. And hey, it's right here. It's right here on me, and I'll continue to address it every day. I'll continue to hold the coaches. I'll continue to hold the kids accountable, and I assure you that we'll get that fixed.
Devwall Whaley, obviously the big game. What did you see from him kind of going into the game, and once the game started, did you see that he was just the hot hand who's going to ride him?
Well, all those running backs have had a good camp, really good camp, and they've challenged each other. We got really good competition in that room, pushing each other. And, I thought that the week before that he was just okay. I thought he had just an okay week of practice. And I know Coach Traylor had challenged that whole group that, look, if Coach is going to call everybody out and say we got to run the football, it's got to have some accountability in this room. And I think you saw that. I think that you saw him. I think you saw Rakeem Boyd. You saw all those guys getting in there, and Chase Hayden getting reps, and but just the inability to convert the third downs in that second half was the biggest challenge coming out of that.
Coach, a word about North Texas. How well do you know Seth Luttrell, and you've played them? And what's their style? What do they want to do offensively, defensively?
Yeah, Coach Luttrell is. I've known him for quite some time, even when he was a coordinator. Really well coached football team, great ball coach. These guys are playing well. This is the best football team they've had. They got a lot of guys back. I think they got 7 on defense and 8 on offense back. Mason Fine, the quarterback. They're going to throw the ball around. They lead the country in passing yards per game. I know they're not I think they're number 3 overall behind Colorado State and Hawaii, but those have got an extra game on everybody. So I think you're going to see a young man. I played him since he started there, and this guy plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's got some very talented receivers around him. Jalen Guyton's one of them, a transfer from Notre Dame. But they're going to spread the ball around, and the one thing that they do a great job of is get the ball out of their hands really quick. So when you do pressure, it's hard to get home because the ball comes out of his hands so quick. Defensively, they're going to be very multiple. They're one of the top 20 defense right now. Over the last 2 weeks, they're going to bring a lot of pressure. They base out of an odd front, but have the capability of moving around. Nate Brooks is one of their corners. It definitely jumps out on video. Again, I've seen all these guys, recruited a lot of these guys, and I'm very, very, very impressed with after watching their first 2 games of how that they've got guys in the right positions and going against passing teams. There's not many guys that had been open, so they're going to do a good job, and we'll get their absolute best this week, and that's what we should get. We've this is a football team that, again, it's about us right now.
Coach Davis has talked about subbing more than I guess Arkansas has in the past, but didn't see a lot of Joe Fouché, and I guess Dre Greenlaw being out has limited some stuff at linebacker. Did you feel like maybe with 27 snaps there in the fourth quarter that defense maybe got a little tired there at the end?
Well, I think they played entirely too many snaps in the fourth quarter, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. There's no doubt about that. They played too many. I don't. As far as tired, I'm not going to make an excuse. That's an excuse. We didn't make the plays. And those are things that's on us as coaches, and to get these guys fixed and get them corrected. And Coach Chavis would tell you the same thing. And that's the great thing about this. Look, we just lost a football game. That's what we've lost. We got an opportunity to improve this football program, and this is a learning opportunity. This isn't a panic opportunity. It's a learning opportunity. Ain't nobody panicking. I can promise you that. If anything, this is an opportunity to dig deep. I love the opportunity to see what this team, these players and this coaching staff, and how they're going to respond this week. This is a big week for this football team. And as I mentioned earlier, and the only thing that matters is how we respond. That's it. And that's my challenge to them. The only thing that's for sure is we're not going to be undefeated. That's the only thing that's for sure out of this deal. We're going to be better. We're going to be better each week. And but everything's in front. Every goal, every part of our vision statement is still in front for this football team. And so.
What's the status for Randy Ramsey and Greenlaw this week, and how much has that affected the rotation in the D-line, not having Ramsey out there?
Well, I think it's definitely affected us because of just creating some depth and having to move some guys around and to get that true pass rusher off the edge. And so we've played a lot of guys. I think Jamario Bell does a good job rushing the passer, does some good things there, but. To get Randy back, we hope to have him back this week. He was in Green last night and working out a little bit, so we'll see on that. Dre Greenlaw, we expect Dre to be back, and I think with Dre being out, again, Bumper Pool did a really good job. He and Grant Morgan kind of rotated in there at that will backer, but this is an opportunity to get Dre back. We know what kind of leader Dre is for this football team too. If anything, it creates depth, and that's one thing that we're constantly striving for.
I've got two questions. First, to follow up on Nate, what about the status of Colton Jackson, O'Grady, and Dorian Gerald?
Colton Jackson, I'll start with Colton. And Colton was out there. Again, y'all just saw him last weekend back in. We'll reevaluate this week, see how it goes. We hope to have him this week, but we know for sure for next week. We'll reevaluate this week. He's definitely progressing. He was out at practice yesterday. And who was the other one? CJ O'Grady. CJ's back out there with us, and Dorian Gerald, it'll be a day-to-day right now.
And then also wanted to ask you about your safeties, playing deeper and not getting a pass rush. Just, how are you able to get more pressure on the quarterback because you only got one sack the other night against Colorado State?
Yeah, I think some of that has to do with the fact of, and I mentioned just a little bit earlier, just being able to get that true pass rusher off the edge. When you bring pressure, obviously you open up some lanes, and that's what we're about. We're a pressure style defense, and I just think at some point there, especially late in the game, we knew they were going to throw the football, and we were trying to get – Sosa did a good job of getting some pressure inside. We were trying to get the pressure on them with 4 and be in the pass windows. And so, again, that was a decision right there we were making.
Gatlin played every snap. Is that right? Yeah, obviously that's a premium position, left tackle for a true freshman. How did you think he handled it? What did he do well? And if he's got to start again this week, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think he did really well. I think, and I've shared this about him during the course of camp, but this is a young man that has really came in and impressed us. Has got a great future here, a great career ahead of him. You wish that you didn't have to play a true freshman, especially at that left tackle, but the moment was not too big for him. Made some mistakes, as you would expect. Some mistakes at times that were in some third downs. But that's to be expected when you put a freshman out on the field. We had Dalton Wagner got in there at right tackle when B-Wall went out. And so, there's a lot of moving parts. And when you have that, there's going to be mistakes that are made. But overall, Noah Gatton, I was very, very impressed with him. And he'll continue to only get better. So the future is very bright for him. If he's got to start this week, he'll be ready. But we hope to have Shane back, and he was out there yesterday in practice.
So. Coach, through the first 2 weeks, you've seen the number one receivers on the other side have pretty big games. How much of a concern is it going into this week with face another pass-happy offense?
Well, we've got to we've got to continue to develop our depth at our corner position. We're rotating guys in there. Obviously we know the level at what Ryan Pulley's playing at right now, and came up with a big interception last week. But we got to continue to develop depth there. That's an area that if you're gonna bring pressure, you're putting a lot of man coverage in there, and you're putting a lot of stress on those guys. And so, we got to get that depth right. We got to keep bringing those guys along. And we will. I mean, it's some technique issues, and we'll continue to correct the techniques.
Chad, losing a non-conference early, that obviously hurts bowl chances later on. What would you say would be a successful season even if the Razorbacks don't make a bowl game?
Well, I think first of all, I mean, there's a long season left. The great thing about this, we got 10 more opportunities ahead of us, and we'll discuss all that at the end. December will look like, at some point in time we'll talk about that. But right now, the talk is about North Texas, and yeah, we had an opportunity on the road to get a good win. We were unable to do that, but the season's not over with, and I just there's no way, there's no mindset in this building that anybody's walking in this door thinking that these guys can't achieve and have a great season ahead of us. But we're only going to do that by having the best day we can be today, and continue to focus on the little things. And I know it sounds like a coach cliche, but that's exactly the way this program is going to get turned around. It's not going to be anything that's going to be some big revelation. It's going to be a focus of daily little decisions that are made over the course of time. And that's how we're going to get this right.
There's a lot of talk about how SEC teams, and especially teams in the West, won't go on the road and play each other. And I know the circumstances that led to you playing Colorado State were different, but can you kind of talk about that experience of playing at a Group of 5 stadium, different than Arkansas's played at in a long time? And as you're putting together your future schedules, do you look at maybe doing something similar to that in the future?
Well, I don't know about, from a future standpoint, I'm living in the moment as much as I can. But as far as, going there, obviously their facilities were really nice, but I think that anytime you bring Arkansas into anywhere, no matter where. I mean, I think that there's always from the past traditions and storied past of this program, always keens an interest, and people want to come see, and I think you saw that last Saturday. But we knew we were going to get their best. That's regardless wherever we played, we knew we were going to get their absolute best.
People like to talk about the quarterback struggles, but how much of that is them, or how much is that on receivers, maybe Cornelius Nance not getting open and them not really having where to go with the football?
No, I don't think it's on any particular area of this is the main reason with it. I think it's the fact that we've just all got to continue to come together, and the offense, I think you saw more and more of our offense of kind of the installation of what it needs to look like. More wrinkles that have been added and will continue to slowly get added through the course of the season. And I mean, this is a work in progress, and it's not one set of, it's not receivers, it's not the quarterbacks. I mean, it's on all of us to get this thing fixed, and we will. I mean, they will. These guys, they proved the first week. I mean, we got guys that can make some plays. We had some drops the other night. We got to make plays, but that's part of football, and but we'll get it fixed.
How did you think Clary and Caps did at left guard, and do you expect that rotation to continue this week, or do you hope to settle on one of those guys?
No, I do expect that to continue this week, and I thought that again, with Austin Caps getting his first true significant playing time on the field, did some good things, but again, you have mistakes that are made. We, being understand that the technique of staying on a double or when to pop off to a linebacker on the zone scheme, and a guy gets underneath you or a guy beats you over the top. It's just technique issues. It's just it's a step. It's hand placement. It's eye placement. That's what it is. But the great thing about it is it's not an effort issue. There was not any effort issues. The only issues were some technique issues that we got to continue to improve the technique. So both those guys will play. It was good to see Ty get in there and as well. So again, we've got to continue to develop that depth for when we're going to need it. That's my thought.
Hey, Chad, you said you'd obviously prefer to have an established quarterback. In all your coaching experience, whatever level, wherever you've been, have you ever gone into a third game and not had, the guy as an established quarterback before?
Yeah, actually, yeah, we have, and we did that several years ago. My last year at Clemson, I mean, we were still rotating quarterbacks all the way into conference play until we found the opportunity, the guy that was going to lead this football team, and he did. And at some point, that's what we're going to find, and we're going to run with it. And if it's this week, it's this week. If it's next week, it's next week. But it'll be the right time, and we want this. Playing quarterback is You know, there's so many intangibles that come with it that sometimes are out of your control, and some of the circumstances dictate themselves. But we want to find a guy and let him settle in and go with it. And so that's the intent, and we'll see when that happens.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.